Hello, we're back with Barren Victory. This is my make-believe Bragg's fantasy scenario. We're in the Confederate phase of the 1530 turn here. Remember, the goal in this scenario is to essentially to control the Lafayette Road at the end of the scenario. And the fact that in the previous Union phase, Negley's division was able to accept his orders right away and start to implement his orders to essentially, defend this area of the Lafayette Road. Means I think that the Army of Tennessee has to go all out here and try to and push these units off away from the road before Negley's division has a chance to establish itself on the Lafayette Road and bring up its artillery and things like that. So we're going to be going all in for the Army of Tennessee this phase. Um, but let's go through the sequence of play. Itching as I am to get to the movement and close combat phase, we do need to obviously follow the sequence. I'm not going to have the Army of Tennessee and Bragg issue any new orders this phase. That's because First Corps is implementing its orders, and Buckner's Corps is also implementing its orders. And Stuart's division here has active orders as well. There's no core attack stoppage checks to make. I am going to roll initiative for Stuart. I don't know what exactly, if anything, I would do for Stuart if he were to get initiative, but this is my chance, so I'm going to go ahead and do it. So he has a leader rating of 4, which means that if I roll a 9 or greater on a 2d6, then Stuart would have initiative this turn. So we'll go ahead and roll that. And he rolled a 12, so Stuart does have initiative to change his orders this turn, so we'll see how that develops. That's exciting. Delay reduction. The Army of Tennessee does not have any orders in delay reduction, and no new orders are arriving this turn for the Army of Tennessee. So now we're at the movement and close combat phase. And so I want to be attacking all along the line here. And I think one important facet of in our decisions about how we actually do that is the presence or absence of artillery. So down here, these 3 units here are collectively Wilder's very large division. Wilder does not have his artillery up with him, which makes him a potentially good object of, target of close combat. Although Wilder does have an A morale level. Oh, he's got a B morale level. I'm mistaken. I thought Wilder was an A. Wilder also has the repeating rifles, which gives him extra firepower. These units up here both have artillery support, which if you remember from the previous playthrough, what that means is that it's very hard to get a retreat result on units with defensive units with artillery. So on the face of it, they're not great candidates for close combat. But since things are getting a bit desperate here, I am going to start off the movement and close combat phase by doing a close combat by Robertson's brigade into Carlin's brigade here. One thing in our favor is that Robertson does have a morale level, so that makes so that will help a bit. Although it will be, as we'll see, it will be very unlikely that Robertson will actually be able to force Carlin's brigade to retreat here. But we have to try, I think, given the circumstances. And in the movement phase in the Civil War Brigade system, you pick your movements in any. You don't have to predetermine your movements before you do any close combat. So you do. So if you move into an enemy hex as a result of close combat, then you do the close combat instantly, right away before you have to move any more units. And again, I don't need to specify the movements of any other units in advance before I do that close combat. But one thing we will need to be mindful of is that when I do a close combat, the unit that's that's doing the close combat does need to be within the command radius of their divisional leader. So actually the first move we're going to make is we're going to move Benning. We'll go 2, 4. Do I want to move him into here? Yeah, I think we're all in. So I'm 4, that's 5 here. He does get to do a facing change. So we'll want him to... that's a good question. Yeah, we'll want him to face like this. And then Law will accompany him. All right, and we're starting within movement radius. That's 1, 3. So now let's move Robertson. So that's 3 into here, 2 for the woods plus 1 for the stream, 5 for the wood, for the fact that this is a wood hex here, and then 1 extra 1 for the close combat. So now we'll do a close combat between Robertson and Carlin. Robertson's morale level is a C, so that's also a bit of an item in our favor. We being the Army of Tennessee here. So let's go to our fire point determination. We're going to use the close combat columns here. So first you may remember that both sides do their fire combat and determine stragglers and things like that without doing the morale portion. That's done after both sides have effectively fired at each other. And the order doesn't matter. Both, like the results of the first fire combat does not affect, like the second fire combat is still done with the other units, like starting fire level, so to speak. So it's instantaneous. In other words. So first we'll do the defensive. So Carlin has a fire level close combat, so that's 8, plus 2 artillery at close combat, that's 4. So that's a total of 12 fire points. So when we do our fire combat, we'll be on this column right here. So now we'll do our fire combat, and remember we'll be ignoring the morale results. So rolled a 5 here, so that's 1.5. The rounding die says round down, so that rounds down to a 1. Straggler roll of 1 with a morale level for Robertson's division is not going to result in any stragglers. So amazingly, Robertson just takes 1 permanent loss. So let's mark that. Oops. So now Robertson will do his fire combat. Robertson is a fire level, so that's going to be 8 fire points. So we'll be rolling on this column here. And again, ignoring the morale result. Rolled a 6. So that's 1 permanent loss. And a straggler result of 2 on a C morale level. I don't know what that is. C morale level 2 is no stragglers. So oops. So Carlin gets 1 permanent loss as well. Not as bloody as I thought it was going to be. But that does put him down to a fire level. So we'll need to remove the strength marker here. Remember that when there's no marker, that means a fire level. So now we do the morale results, and first we do the attacking brigade checks morale down -6 on the morale table. So starts with an A, and then we go down 6 levels. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's just briefly check the modifiers. I don't think anything else besides the -6, of course. No. So essentially we're rolling on the D morale table here. So we'll roll our combat dice, but we'll just be paying attention to the 2 rightmost dice. 32 on the D is a shaken, but it does not require a retreat. So far so good for the Army of Tennessee. Now Carlin has to check morale. He goes down he starts with a C, goes down -4, so that's 1, 2, 3. So we'll be checking at E, but remember, if we get this morale result or this morale result here, because this asterisk unit stacked with unlimited artillery may ignore the retreat result. So long story short, as long as the morale roll here is below a 61, Carlin will not have to retreat. So let's see what happens. 13, that's no result. So neither side was forced to retreat as a result of the morale roll. So now we go to there's a chart we go to now. It's called the close combat chart. So there's 2 tables we have to look at. First is, actually, let's see. If none of the above ends of combat, resolve the close combat using the odds table below. Loser must retreat 2 hexes if defender, 1 hex if attacker. Again, if the defender must retreat, he must make an additional morale check. So I haven't done this in a while. Point value for odds. So first I think you applied the the fire levels here, so both are A's, so that means 4. So that means we're on the 1-to-1 column here, 4-to-4 or 1-to-1 here. So we roll a 1d6 here, and a D result a D result means the defender wins. A result means the attacker wins, and then we have to do a roll off here. So the odds are definitely in favor of the defender here, but we'll give this a try. So we're rolling 1d6. So to do that, we'll roll combat die, but just pay attention to the blue straggler dice. Rolled a 4. That is a D result. So that means the defender wins and the attacker retreats 1 hex. So our close combat here was not successful. And the close combat stops. So now we're eligible to move other units. Something a mistake I made in the previous video is I should have removed the Bloodlust morale state marker from Heg, because during the rally phase of the previous turn he was not next to any enemy units, and so that means he loses his Bloodlust state, so I'll just remove that now. Another tactical mistake I made when I was playing the Union side in the previous turn. I didn't intentionally do this to benefit the Army of Tennessee, but I didn't. I should have probably extended. Notice that Heg has AB level, and I could have extended Heg into this hex to have an unbroken line here, but I didn't do that, which is going to allow McNair to move here, and then he just to be intuitive, he'll rotate 1, and then he'll move here. So his 3 frontal hex sides are here, 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 and this unit here, his frontal hex sides match those of this one here we stipulated. So that means that's going to give McNair a flank shot into flank fire combat into Wilder's division. Or we could actually do close combat, but I don't think we need to do close combat for reasons that we'll see. So he will stop movement here. We'll move this artillery up 1 hex for 2, and then I 1, 2, 4. Maybe I should not have. Well, it's too late now. I'm just going to leave this unlimbered because there's no point in unlimbering here, because given the way I've got my units here, this unit does not have any. The artillery does not have line of sight to any Union units, so I'm just going to leave him unlimbered for now. Well, actually, I better. Circumstances could develop here. I will unlimber him just to be safe. And I'm not unlimbering within 2 hexes of any enemy unit with line of sight, and so he doesn't draw any fire from the Union side as a result of that. I will move this artillery up to here. I cannot move him into this hex because this unit here throws a zone of control into here. And remember, you can't unlimber artillery in an enemy zone of control. So I'll stop here and I will, just to be safe, make him eligible to fire. I would really like to move this artillery up to here, but I can't for the reason I just outlined. So but one thing I want to do is notice that Gracie is double A, so he's ripe to be extended to increase his firepower. So we're going to do that. So he will have, the extension will have a fire level, so I'll just get rid of the fire level marker here, which means that both of these counters here have a fire level. So he extends for 1, moves here for 2, and then he has enough movement points to move here. Let me label him, so GPB. And I should, oops, I didn't mean to do that. I will just rotate him to, as we would in the physical copy of the game, just to, but we'll stipulate, let's think carefully about his facing here. To be safe, we'll have him, this extended unit here facing this way. So his frontal hex sides are here, here, and here, just to make it at least a little bit more difficult for this unit to get flanked from the south. And that will give, this unit a frontal, line of sight into this hex here, which is what the most important thing. There's artillery in this hex that's limbered, and notice that's fine. It's fine for him to be limbered in an enemy zone of control. He just can't unlimber. I don't think there's anything. We could actually move him out of here, but that would leave him exposed. I think we'll just leave him there for now. I am going to move Trig Is that Trig? I think it's Trig. Into this hex here. Definitely has enough movement points to do that. That's Kelly. It probably doesn't really matter. Ooh, C morale. I don't like the sound of that. Actually, let me speed this one here. I think it must be this one. Sorry about that. Struggling a bit here. There we go. That's got to be it. Maybe it didn't matter. Oh, didn't matter. Oh well. And we'll move Trig here to generate even more fire against Wilder's brigade here. Do we want to move any artillery in this hex? Yeah, I kind of like the idea of just getting this artillery across that stream, move down into here. So that's what we'll do. And I think that's it. Then there's movement up here we have to decide too. Now we do have Stuart got initiative, so he would be free to change his orders. And I think Stuart will issue his division new orders to attack Carlin here. Or does he just want to just hurl himself against Reynolds and Van Cleve's divisions here just to try to get a breakthrough? He can't do both, I don't think. For one reason, well, not command radius would still have to be maintained. Actually, you know what? I don't think Stuart is going to change his orders. I just think we have to go all in and just hope for something good here as the Confederate player. The main thing I want to try is Brown has... not Brown. One of these has... Bait has a morale level, which makes him the best candidate to do close combat. Obviously artillery support there. No artillery support here, but one house rule I do play in this game is that kind of on a case-by-case basis, but like notice that this unit here puts a zone of control into here. This unit here puts a zone of control into here. So there's from a zone of control standpoint, there was no advantage for Beatty to extend here, but I think it's intuitive that Beatty, I mean, they didn't leave 200-yard gaps in their lines. They would have filled the line. And so, but then notice that that would make the fact that I have this unit here now without artillery, and Beatty didn't put artillery here because Beatty already put his allowable two strength points of detached artillery up here. That would make this unit eligible to go 1 into the zone of control and then 2 here to do a close combat, and where this unit would not have the benefit of artillery support. The one house rule I adopt in this game is that if in that kind of situation, I mean, to me it seems a little gamey that in this situation I would be able to kind of exploit the fact that the line was extended here to do a close combat. To do a close combat that avoids the defensive artillery bonus. And so I play with the house rule that if I were to do it here, if I were to do a close combat here, this unit would get the retreat artillery bonus. It wouldn't be able to when we do the fire combat. It wouldn't fire with the artillery that's up here. But wait, there's 5 here. Oh no, there's 3 here. This unit doesn't get to fire with the artillery in this hex, but it still gets that retreat bonus. I find that to be more intuitive than the rule in the rule book, so that's the way I play. If I wasn't going to play with that, then I probably would not have extended Beatty's brigade into this hex, just because I wouldn't want to give that window of opportunity to the other side. And so that's how I do it. Boy, I'm really torn here. I think we have to go all in. So 2, 4, 5. So I wouldn't have enough movement points to condense bait into an AB before I close combated into here. Because that would be 2 into here, then 4, 6, 7, and I don't have 7 movement points. So what we'll do is we'll go 2, and then, well, to be real kosher, we'll go 2 here. Well, technically speaking, these 2 units have to be adjacent at all times. Technically speaking, I should have to finish the movement of this counter before I move here. But I'm just going to say that this is allowable. I think intuitively, I think it's in the spirit of the game to allow that. So we will do a close combat here. King is C morale level, but he will get that defensive artillery bonus. So let's do the close combat here. So we have A infantry fire level plus 5 artillery. Yikes. So 8 plus 5 artillery in close combat is 10. So a total of 18 fire points. So we're on this very right column here. See what happens. Again, we're just doing the fire combat here, not the morale check. Rolled a 6. So that's a loss of 2. Rounding dice is irrelevant. Stragglers 4. On A morale, no stragglers. Oops. So it was just 2 permanent losses to bait. Right. Yes. Which actually takes him down to an A fire level anyways. Which we do actually have a choice here between reducing this counter here to a B and leaving this one here, but we will not do that. We'll just delete that stack there. Okay, so now bait will fire on king with 8 close combat fire points. So we're on this column here. Again, not checking morale. Roll a 9. So it's 1.5. Round down to 1. Straggler result 4 on a C morale level. So that's going to be 1 more. So it's 1 permanent loss, 1 straggler. For king. Ooh, he's got losses already. So move him here. A straggler here. Alright, so we're done with the fire portion of the close combat. Now we have to check morale. So first bait will check morale. So he'll be -6 from his base level A morale state, which, if I remember right, 1, 2, 3, 4 puts him on. So we're on the D row here. So let's with no other modifiers. So let's do that. 36 shaken, but does not have to retreat. So put the shaken marker on him. Now king, start with a C, go down 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So E level, but with the artillery retreat bonus. So let's roll for morale. 55. It's going to be close, very close, but does not have to retreat. Needed a 61 or higher. So he is disorganized, however. That's going to be fun getting in that stack. I think I'm just going to have to take the hex apart, the stack apart, and put it back together again. Whoops. I did not intend for that artillery to be above the infantry there, so let's put him here. So he's disorganized but does not retreat. So there's so now we go to the close combat table. So it's A, B to A in favor of the Union. Unit strength. So it's 5 to 4. Which way do we round? So combat modifier. Doesn't say which way to round. if you have like a 5-to-4 ratio. So I'm going to have to take a quick look at the rules here. Rules don't say how to round. I'm going to round down, so we'll make it a 1-to-1 roll here. Am I missing something? Just amazing that they don't say if the odds are 5-to-4 what column to use. I don't see anything. Alright, so we'll roll a 1d6 here, so we'll use the blue die here. Oh, a 6 flashed, but then it was a 3. So the Union holds once again. So D is defender wins, attacker retreats 1 hex. So we'll go here with his shaken marker. So that didn't work. So we want to keep doing this. Yeah, we need something good to happen here. So now Clayton will close combat. He will close combat here. And Stewart has to go in with him, I guess. Whoops. Oh, I'm just going to put him here for now. Just put it there for now. We'll restack at the end as needed, or reshuffle. So now we're going to do another close combat. So we have C, not very good against, we have to go here, B. Do I really want to do this? No, I think this is just crazy. I'm changing my mind. There's just... Well, I do have the Stewart as a... Oh, yeah, all right, we're going in. And I probably could zoom this just to make this... So we're doing a close combat here. Whoops. He should not be flipped. All right, so first we'll do the defensive fire, which is a B at B fire level. So B, so that's at close combat range is 4, so we're going to roll on the 3-to-4 column here, not checking morale. So a 9 on the 4 is 1. With straggler level 5, that's going to result in some stragglers. With C morale 1, so 1 permanent, 1 straggler loss. For Clayton. Now we'll do the offensive fire, so that's A fire level at close combat, so that's an 8. Roll a 6. So that's a loss of 1. Straggler level of 4. Roll a 4 on B. Morale is 1. So 1 loss, 1 straggler there. For Beatty. Which brings him down to A fire level, which means that, I mean, we don't want, cumulatively, Beatty's brigade here needs to go down 1 by B amount of fire level, but we're not going to remove the B here. Instead, we're going to reduce the mother unit. You know what? I'm going to check the rules on this. Extended lines. What I'm doing might not be allowable. I may have been playing this wrong. After subtracting losses, apply any required reduction in fire levels to the unit as a whole and divide remaining fire levels evenly across the parent and all extended lines. So yeah, so we will indeed come on. Oh, never mind. All right. So we did that. So now we have to roll for morale. First, the attacker, Clayton, has to check his morale on the -6. So he checks morale at -6, but I believe he gets a bonus. I could have sworn he got a bonus for his leader. Yeah. You subtract 1 from the leader level, which is it's a 4. So we go down 6, but up 3, starting with C. So C, we go down 3 net. So we're on this. So we're on the row between D and E, checking morale. 1-1. That's actually bloodlust. Interesting. So he gets a bloodlust. Interesting. I'm not sure. Well, let's check. Have the defending unit check morale. So that's going to. Oh, but we do have to roll on the leader loss table, which is here. So let's do that before we do anything else. So that's a 2d6 roll. 9, no effect. So now we're going to check morale -4, starting with B. So 1, 2, 3. So we're rolling on the D fire level. D fire, yeah, the D fire level row here. Checking Morale, 42, that's not going to do anything. That's a shaken result, but whoops, just going to take this apart here. I mean, technically, we're putting that there, and then this actually makes the entire brigade shaken, I believe. And then he goes, oops, what's this? Yeah, well, let's do this right. Here, 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 here. So neither side has had to retreat. So now again we go to our close combat table. So this is, odds are going to be in our, so this is a B to B ratio in favor of the attacker. That's 5 to 2. So that's 1 to 2 or less. So we're rolling. Wait. So that's 2.5 to 1. So I think we round down like we did before. Before we rounded in favor of the defend. I forget how we did it. We rounded down, so we'll round down. So we'll be rolling on this 2 to 1 column here. Rolling a 1d6. So we'll just be looking at the blue dice here. And things like morale and stuff don't have any effect here. It's just a straight roll. Rolled a 3. Defender holds. Which means that Stuart which means that all of this has to retreat 1 hex. We need to preserve command radius, so I think we'll want it actually to be here. Then I think we will have some real danger of flanking, of getting outflanked here. I think we need to stop the attack here just because if we keep attacking, then that's going to allow Van Cleve's, the northern portion of Van Cleve's division, to get on our flank here. So I think Brown just has to hold here to protect the flank. Brown is meeting his command radius requirements, and the rules say that if any portion of an extended brigade meets the command radius requirements, then the requirement is met. So I think we're just going to have Brown hold here to avert disaster. Zoom out. So that's it for the movement and close combat phase. Now we need to do all of our fire combat. I think I'm going to pause the video here because it's been a really long video already. So I'll stop the video here. When we come back, we'll continue with this phase and we'll do, because there's a lot of fire combat left to be done. And so we will do that next turn.